Welcome. Welcome to our webinar this afternoon. I'm glad you could join us. Our presenter today is Linda Kester. Linda is a nationally recognized as an outstanding sales trainer and professional speaker. She's the author of the best-selling book, 366 Marketing Tips for Equipment Leasing, which is now available on your Kindle or iPad. She has 22 years of experience in leasing sales and marketing management. She has had a tremendous positive impact on sales for all types of companies, from startup firms to corporate giants. Today, Linda is presenting on how to use LinkedIn to help you prospect. Everyone will be in muted mode until the end. We will have a question and answer section. If you can use your hand raising feature on your toolbar and raise your hand if you have a question, then Jen is our moderator and she can unmute you at the end so you can ask your question, or you can type your question in the question box and we'll address those at the end as well. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Linda. Linda, it's all yours.
Thank you, Monica. Hello and welcome. Thank you for coming to our seminar, How to Use LinkedIn to Help You Prospect. And hopefully you can see my screen right now. I'm on the phone along with Patrick Sponsel, who is the president-elect of the NAELB. He's going to help me out today. And Jim, I know Jim Gibbons is on the phone too. And Jim, we're going to unmute you when when we'd like you to get your feedback also, because these guys have used LinkedIn a lot and they have some good tips to help you. So our agenda today, we're going to talk about the biggest mistake people they make when using LinkedIn, why most people ask themselves what to do with it, the 5-step strategy to be successful, 3 most important fundamental principles, 5 ways to find lessees and vendors, and then I'm going to give you some profile tips. So what is the biggest mistake? Well, most people use LinkedIn as a passive billboard instead of a proactive tool. So I'm going to take you right now to my LinkedIn profile. So, we can actually show you the tips live right on there. And I think most people have done this. They set up their profile and people ask them to, connect to them, and that's pretty much it. Then maybe they'll fool around a little bit on it. They won't get anything. They feel like they've wasted their time and they haven't gotten any good leads. But LinkedIn is a really good it's a really good search engine. It's a really good social network that can help you get more vendors and lessees if you know how to use it the right way. So I'm going to show you the tips, and you can see at the top of my account, you see where it says account type. I have the basic. I have the free account. So some of you may have already upgraded, but everything we're going to talk about today is for the free account. So you can see, I think some people, they just go on there and it's like you say, okay, do you have a car? Yes, I have a car. Well, what do you use your car for? I could ask somebody that, and they might say, oh, well, I just use my car to drive around. Instead of saying I use my car to get from one place to another. We got to look at LinkedIn as how to get from one place to another. And the reason why people don't do that is because they don't have their clear goals. I'm a big goal setter, so you've got to have clear goals, and you got to know who the people are who are in the best position to help you reach those goals, okay? So, Patrick, are you there? Patrick, can you hear me? No, Patrick.
I'm muted. Sorry. Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Patrick, now, if I asked you, do you have a list of your top 5 vendors that you would like to land before the end of 2011. Do you have that somewhere in writing? Do you have an answer for me?
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Oh, good job. That's why you're the president-elect, okay? So Patrick has a list of people that he would like to land by the end of the year, which is great. And that's the homework for everybody on this call. I want you to write down your top 10 prospects, top 10 vendors, top 10 lessees that you would like to land by the end of the year, just from your own database, okay? And then we'll use the LinkedIn to help you with that. And we'll also use LinkedIn to try to help you find new prospective customers. But we'll take, so for Patrick, he has his clear goals, right? So he has at least 5 people that he would like to land before the end of the year. What I would tell Patrick to do is then go on LinkedIn and see where it says people. You can see my screen. And right now I'm clicking on Advanced. You have to use the advanced people search. That's the key, okay? Now, I'm not in Patrick, so I'm going to have to use an example of my own. But for myself, my goal before the end of 2011 is to train 5 different leasing companies, right? So what I'll do in here is I can type in keyword leasing company, okay? I'll do equipment leasing. And then I'll type in sales manager. And then I can do, just in the United States, I could do close to me. But I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to search. Oh, that wasn't a good example. Did I type sales manager wrong? Okay. So, yeah, I typed sales manager wrong. So, okay. So it's sales manager. And then, actually, it's kind of cool here, current or past. So I want just current sales managers. So somebody could have been a past sales manager. So we'll see what comes up. Well, look at this. 576 results came up of sales managers that are connected to. So I can go through these, and I have some. The first one is Leslie. She's in my first degree network. And then we have this guy, Mark, who's my second degree, which means somebody that I know knows him. And that is the biggest, what I think is the beautiful part of using LinkedIn. So for me, for my goal, I want to train leasing companies, right? So here's a guy who's a regional sales manager, Chuck. I don't know Chuck, right? So I click on Chuck. He doesn't have a picture. That's another tip. If you're on here and you don't have a picture, do you say, oh, well, I'm not blonde. I don't want to have my picture on there. You need a picture. It's really important to have a picture. And just a headshot. This is a professional site. It's not Facebook. And there's LinkedIn just went public a couple months ago. There's over 68 million users on LinkedIn right now. So, and the average age is 40 years old. They're all mostly white-collar workers. So it's really important to, have a picture and be professional. For example, somebody contacted me through here the other day. I didn't recognize their name, but when I clicked on who they were, I saw their picture. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I actually went to an Atlanta Braves baseball game with him after one of the last NAELB meetings. A whole group of us went together, and nice guy, but I didn't recognize his name. So it's really important, even if you think, you don't photograph well, put a picture on there. So here's Chuck, right? And here's Chuck. Now, if I wanted to talk to Chuck, there's 2 people through me. You've got me, and there's 2 people that I know that are connected directly to him. And this is the beauty of LinkedIn right here, because I could contact either one of these people and ask them to introduce me, okay? But let's go back. Let me go back to my search. And so that's one way. You can just search that way. But if you know a name of a company, so Patrick has his 5 companies that he would really like to get into. Now, for me, I have always wanted to train Great America. I don't know if you've ever heard of Great America Leasing, but they have a good reputation. Hold on. And I've always wanted to train them. So I'm going to search their name and see what comes up. Great America Leasing.
In the company name, Linda.
Oh, thank you. That's why. That's why. See? That's why you're on the call, Patrick. Okay, company name. Yeah, I knew I did this before. Okay, Great American Leasing. Just going to search that. Now, 39 results come up, okay? And here's this guy, Rick, who's on there, who's a second connection. And remember, the beauty of LinkedIn is in these second connections, right? So I click on Rick, and I see that there's 2 people that I'm connected to that are connected to him. So, I can add, the beauty is I could click on one of these people. Here's Greg, and Greg works for Creek Ridge Capital. And I actually trained Creek Ridge Capital. So he spent a day with me. So what I would do, and this is, it's a networking site, is I would now not contact Greg I would pick up the phone and call Greg and say, Greg, remember me? We did this training together. Oh, Linda, how's it going, right? I'm not close with him. I just met him through training. And I'd say, if you like the training, would you mind introducing me to the person that I really want to get into, to this company? That's what you guys would do. You pick up the phone then, you ask them. And then if they say, sure, sure, Patrick, I'd love to introduce you to this other company, then you say, could you just, instead of doing it through LinkedIn, because there is a way where you just click on it and you can send an email, I recommend it through that way, could you just send the contact a email directly from your email system, just saying, I think, Linda came in here and she did a pretty good job with us. Could, you might be able to benefit from her services. So that's one way. It's just another way of networking, which is if this person knows Greg, then they say, okay, I know and trust Greg, and Greg is now recommending Linda. That makes it a little bit easier to get an introduction. Does that make sense? Patrick, does that make sense to you? Patrick?
You know what, I keep needing it. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, well, since I have you on the phone now, Patrick, do you have anything that you want to add, or do you want me to wait until I start talking about groups?
I would wait till then.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, so the biggest problem with LinkedIn is people, they don't have their clear goals. So I want you to have your clear goals and then know who the people are in the best position to have you reach them. So what I just told you is the 5-step strategy when I just showed you, but I didn't go step by step. Number one, you make a specific goal. So you want to land this vendor, this lessee. And then number two, you think of the people who are in the best position to help you reach your goal. So if you want to land, ATM vendors, you might look for sales managers in the ATM industry. Then you go on to the advanced search, which is very important. And then you look at the list of your common contacts. And then you ask the person that you have the best relationship with for an introduction, okay? And rather than going through LinkedIn, you ask them to go through email. Now, the fundamental principle number one, the real power is in the second degree. Sometimes you can see on LinkedIn that you're connected through somebody through either, the third degree or the fourth degree. If you look at my at a search here, the first one comes up second degree, and here is someone who is a third degree contact. It's a little bit more difficult to get to those third degree contacts. The real power is in the second degree network because, you can ask somebody specifically, that you're connected to get you connected to, or at least start a conversation with the people, they have a better relationship, okay? So that's the key there. And fundamental principle number two is that you want to have that good networking attitude. A lot of people just go in there, they want to be introduced, and you barely know them, and that's kind of difficult. So you want to share information, and you want to give and receive. A lot of people think, oh, give and take. You know what? This isn't give and taking. It's networking. You want to give and receive. So the other way to do that is to get involved in groups. And, I just clicked on here, fundamental principle number 3, all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people they know, people they trust, and people they like. Okay, Bob Berg said that, who is a big-time networker. So, if you know me, that's what we got to think about when we go back to LinkedIn and we do these searches. Either you know me, or you trust me, or you like me. That's going to make it a little bit easier for you to refer business to me if I ask you to send me some business. So let's go back to my profile, okay? And a couple tips for the profile. Remember, you have that good picture. Another tip that I learned while researching this for you guys. See where it says websites? Most people say personal websites. I customize that to say Linda's free sales article. So you just click here and you go edit. And you can put, instead of just my personal website, you can call it whatever you want. You just want to make it that people will want to click on that link. So I could make it, 366 marketing tips, whatever. So it's kind of neat because it makes it a little bit better. And the more information you have on here, the higher you come up in the Google rankings. And with that, I do want to talk to Jim for a second, so if you guys can unmute Jim. But before I talk to Jim, also the group setting is a really good way to find prospects and talk to people. But you know what? Well, we're talking about Google, Ryan. Can you guys unmute Jim? Jim, are you there?
Give me just a
He
second.
had a really good story. Okay. How LinkedIn has helped him. Hello? Not there. Oh, well, we're waiting for him. Patrick,
Yes.
you want to tell me your story about how LinkedIn has helped you?
Certainly. I look at LinkedIn as just another avenue for marketing, and I separate what marketing and sales, what those functions are. And so the group's function of this, I not only am very much into equipment leasing professionals. Of course, there's a group here with LinkedIn called NAELB. Their capital equipment leasing, which is on there. And I shared with Linda this one here called Linked Strategies. And Linked Strategies is more of a group where you get a broad variety of not only end users but potential vendors. And the concept or idea behind Linked Strategies is there are a lot of people in the world out there right now presenting as social media network, I guess, experts, if you will, how to help you navigate through a relatively new marketing avenue. And so, real honestly, they provide a service to us that they give you free tips and guidelines like Linda had talked about previously, where those particular individuals are giving advice about how to navigate these particular waters. So, for instance, posted here the other day was a let's get connected. And so I have not only a personal website, or excuse me, a personal LinkedIn site, but now LinkedIn, since they went public, competes directly with Facebook. And both of them now have corporate where you can develop a basically a business site. So in order to link those together, they had proposed on here a topic for discussion of link your page and say that you like me, like our page, and then you're connected to them. Well, that's just another marketing avenue, and the example that I shared with Linda was that, you know, I have a variety of interests and industries that I'm in, that I'm prospecting in, and one of those that we've done quite a bit of business in is the municipal marketplace, because the truth of the matter is they're struggling with budgets on a continuous basis, really because of lower property value assessments, on and on and on. Well, anyway, to make a long story short, one of the aggressive people in there posted to link to their particular site and like them, and I did so. And what I explained to Linda is that I would have never in a million years been able to find this particular vendor. They're a smaller vendor. It's not like we're going through trying to find school sales vendors in the state of that particular one was Ohio. I would have never found them. I wouldn't. You know, it would have been a pure stumbling act. But because I linked to them through a group that we share a common interest of various LinkedIn strategies, I have the opportunity to do business with them and help them build their sales revenue. So they become, they switch from a marketing avenue to a sales avenue, And, you know, the truth of the matter is most of us are oriented towards sales, and now I've got an opportunity to do what I do best. So that's how I look at LinkedIn, and truthfully Facebook as well. Facebook is kind of moving itself towards more business orientation, but up to this point, LinkedIn's been a professional network, and Facebook was a personal network, and the two are, you know, intermingling themselves. So I guess my part of the webinar today was how to use groups, not only use your own industry, but pursue groups within those industries that you prospect in. So
thank you.
that's,
that's good. Very
that's how I look at it. And it's interesting stuff of how to work in their industries.
Absolutely. So you can, you know, these are the groups that I've joined. You can see Capital Equipment Leasing, which is good. I get emails from them all the time. And then we've got the NAELB group. But you can also see if there's groups of your niche industry. So you know, you can search for groups, and you know, you go into the groups directory, and you know, you can search for, let's see if there's, I used to sell copiers, right? So let's just see if there's a group of, yeah, there's all groups for copiers here. So you can join a copier group, or, you know, once you see those groups, you can click on similar groups and see if there's groups. So you should really join the groups of your target market, and that's the key. It's to, you know, get involved, and then get involved in those group discussions where you could answer a question, and then the people in that group will really know you well. Like, you know, I'm connected to a lot of people in the equipment leasing industry, so I could go on and answer a question, and I can get a lot more opportunities that way. And I can also, so let's go to my groups. Say I went on to the NAELB group, which hopefully you guys are all on the call, you're a member of on our LinkedIn. Get in to be a member of the NAELB group. And let's see, here's, I don't know who David is. Okay, oh, there's Patrick put a little thing on there. Recommend the best legal help. You got this guy, David. So what you can see is, oh, I just clicked on. But when you go on to see him, you can see what groups he's connected to. That's the other tip too. From your contacts, you can see who they are connected to. So let's go back to my connections here. And you can do that through the groups. That was my point. You can do it through either way. Let's see here. Somebody good. Give you an example. Okay, here's Len DeCaro. Known him for years since I worked at Advana. Okay, he's got 137 connections. I can see who he's connected to, right? And that way I can see if there's so if there's somebody that I really want to get into, like if I really wanted to train Sunset Medical Equipment, right? I could then, you know, contact them that way. But you can get it through your direct connections, and you can get it through groups. But it's important to join the groups and then get involved in the discussion in the groups. And the other thing too, the other benefit with LinkedIn is you get your contact's most up-to-date email address. Because you might say to me, well, Linda, I have, you know, my own database. I don't need LinkedIn. Well, everybody is updating their own LinkedIn profile on their own, you know, so they're always putting in their most up-to-date email address. And if you do email marketing like I do, I send out an email once a month, a lot of times you get bounces because people change. But if you use your LinkedIn, you're always going to get their most up-to-date information. So I think that's just another benefit that way. So you know, you got lots of ways to find people. Another way to find people, that's what Jim had given a really good tip for this. Were we able to get him on the line?
I think so. Can you hear me, Linda?
Yes, I hear you now, Jim. Thank you. Thank you
Hi.
for unmuting. So tell us your experience with LinkedIn and how it helped you get business.
Well, I've been on LinkedIn since 2008, but it's only recently that I've started to use LinkedIn productively, and it's been very interesting, actually. what's helped me too is actually YouTube explanations for various functions. If I needed to do something, there's always a YouTube video out. And as an example, I was able to find a very good application for my smartphone, and they have a similar application for iPhones that enables me to quickly connect with people that I know. And I'm up to about pretty close to 700 contacts now. And having experimented with LinkedIn pretty extensively over the last 45 days especially, I've found some examples that I've recently emailed to you, Linda, to look at. But probably the most productive one has been basically there was a lender that turned down a deal but referred me through LinkedIn to another lender that could do a deal, and it was a large fleet leasing deal. So it was definitely productive, and I met the lender through a LinkedIn introduction, and that resulted in a new lender, but it also resulted in a closed fleet loan, which was great to have. So I'm finding that solutions to problems, what's helped me the most probably is getting new contacts by asking questions. There's a question asking section to LinkedIn, which basically is on the top page there to the right under More. And if you scroll down under the More section, you'll see answers. And if you go to the answer section, basically you're able to ask specific questions. And you can ask the questions. For instance, I put a question out that says, anyone care to guess when used car prices will come back down to earth? Because I have several deals that are hanging up on pricing for used cars right now because they're artificially high. And I got some really wonderful responses from people really high up in enterprise fleet management and other people that I wouldn't have known, and they invited me to connect with them. And basically, I've got some awesome some awesome brand new connections, and those connections came as a result of the questions that I asked. So you can ask questions, and I think that the answers that you get will sprout networks of professionals that you wouldn't have before, and that's worked really well for me by just asking a couple of good questions like that. Plus, when you ask a question, you can actually connect to your own connections with the question, meaning that they give you up to 200 people, so you can actually direct to your own network as to where you ask this question. And that particular example, as far as used car prices, has been really helpful because I get these responses, and I forward the responses to prospects of mine, that are basically wondering when to buy their cars. So it helps me specifically with a sales problem. It also gives me brand new contacts that I didn't have before. So that's been really helpful, asking those questions.
That's great. Yeah, so that's a very good example. And you got a deal out of it, right?
Yes, and I've gotten people who I've connected to calling me. Basically, one of them wanted, it was a $700,000 GPS deal that I haven't found the lender yet for, and basically they were looking for a lender, and they asked me if I had a lender in my network, that we could either co-broker the deal through, or basically I could refer him to, and that was someone in my network basically read my profile as to what types of equipment I'm interested in and involved in. And they called me from it. Plus, somebody found me as a connection, and they called me on a MRI deal. So that's also interesting. And we don't have an approval yet, but it was a very good lead. So I'm getting leads out of my connections. They're either calling me, or they're answering questions that I'm posing on this I think that this question asking thing is really, really helpful. One thing I wanted to comment on as far as groups is concerned, it's not something that I've done yet, but it's something that I'm thinking of doing. Is I'm thinking of creating my own group, basically, and then I create brand new discussions for each client, and I update each client with what's going on with their file. So what that means is that they go to my group on LinkedIn, and they see a discussion under their name, and this is for a lessee that wants an update on the file.
Did you start a group? Just to be clear, did you actually start your own group?
I haven't done it yet, but it's something I'm planning on doing.
So all our listeners know you can start your own group too. So. Okay.
Yes, it's relatively easy to do, and that's something I think we're going to get into next month, and use that group as a networking site for people we have in processing that are looking for updates to their files. I can't give you any feedback yet as to how that's going to work, but I think it might have some really good potential as far as keeping people updated as to what's going on with their files. It's just an idea right now.
Yeah, you're right. The group function is what makes LinkedIn so valuable now. You know, the first thing is you can see who, you know, your friends are connected to. You know, Jim might know somebody that I really want to connect to, but I didn't know that Jim knew him, and that's what you find out with LinkedIn. And also now with the groups, we can help ask questions, answer questions, and be perceived as experts, and really start a relationship with those people. And now Jim got a deal out of it. So, you know, and Patrick's getting business out of it. So it can actually work for you. So great, thanks, Jim. Is there anything else that you wanted to share before?
I think it's basically a multi-headed animal, this whole LinkedIn thing, and I think that I'm learning new things about LinkedIn all the time. And searching out videos on YouTube has been another useful way of because they've got hundreds of LinkedIn videos, such as the video that I emailed to you, Linda, about that application.
Right.
The application.
And to be clear with that, Jim sent me this video that said how to get more contacts, and I have an iPhone 4, so all I did was I downloaded the LinkedIn application, and once I put that on there, it took like 3 minutes. It had all these people that were recommended to me. It says reconnect is the button, and I clicked on that, and there were like 100 people, and a lot of them I knew, but I just wasn't connected to, and it was so easy. All I did was tap on their face, and then I was asking them to connect with me, and they did. You know, so that was actually the fastest way. That was a really good tip, Jim, because that was the fastest way I've ever added contacts, and they were good quality contacts.
Great. Yeah, it's worked well for me too, Linda.
And how many contacts did you add?
I've got 700 now. I'm up to 700. I've been adding through the smartphone app basically about 20 a day.
Mm-hmm. So you want to add as many people as you can, right? But you still want to have those network fundamentals in place where, you know, you're talking to people, you're trying to get connected to people with your second-degree network, and you're adding value by talking to the people in the groups and in the discussions. So, you know, you know, the groups are really the discussions that are the heart of LinkedIn. Well, great. Thank you for sharing that. Now,
Sure.
Jim, if I could show you a way to get new prospects every week, would that be something that would be interested to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's pretend that, well, right before I give you that, you were talking about, well, he talked about getting more people, and being on LinkedIn helps you with your Google exposure. You come up faster with the search engines and higher once you're on LinkedIn. And the other tip that I learned is if you actually put video on, or even just a slide presentation. See here it says slide share presentations. If you guys have any slides that I have a slide on there, you know, about increasing your sales. But if you have anything about, you know, a glossary of leasing terms, or you have something like lease versus cash, and you put a slide share on there, it's actually very easy to do. You click on it, it'll tell you what to do. That helps you come up faster in Google rankings also. So I encourage everybody on this call to take advantage of those slide share presentations, put it on there. So if somebody's searching, equipment leasing are searching for you, you're going to come up in the #1 page, okay? But let's give you a really good tip on how to get new prospects every week. So you go up to the top here and you go on the advanced search again, which I love, right? And let's say Jim, let's say he likes to do fleet leasing, right? We'll say like he likes to do rental cars, okay? So, or call on rental car companies. And let's just say, let's say located, he wants to, I could put in a postal code. He wants to find them in New Jersey, right? 080, just because I live in New Jersey, not necessarily. We'll just keep it that broad, right? And we'll just do search. Now, it's not going to come up a lot because, again, remember, this is my network. This isn't Jim's network. But this is the key tool, Jim. You would go up here. Right now, I got 114 results, right? People in the rental car industry. What you do here, see the Save button? You click on Save.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I know. So excited. And you can either weekly or monthly save your searches, whatever you search for, and it will send you an email reminder, and it will tell you who is new in that industry with those keywords or who has changed their profile with that industry and those keywords. So more people are joining LinkedIn every day. People are getting invitations and they don't know what to do with them. So some people join, some people don't. But since LinkedIn went public and since it's becoming hotter and hotter, people are coming on all the time. And this way, you will get a email notification as often as you want, with either weekly or monthly, with those changes, so that you could be a little bit more proactive. How do you like that?
Really nice.
Yeah, I like that too. I thought that was a really good tip. So, go back to my LinkedIn home, and I'll show you my profile. And I'm listed here. I have my maiden name, Galetta, there. But most people in business, know me as Kester because I got married really young. I have sales expert because I put that there because some people are just they're Googling different things. They want a sales expert. They want a sales trainer. So you want to put a title that's going to have you come up right away. And it's important to have as your profile filled out. You can see mine. It'll tell you mine is 100% complete. And don't be afraid to ask for recommendations. I have 8 recommendations on here, and they're pretty nice. They're not, but it's people I know well, and it makes you feel good. So if it's people that you've done business with who really know you, like this one from Stuart Brown is, I've known Linda for 12 years, and he says the nicest things. So it only helps, because what will happen? Here's what will happen. Say with my first example, remember I told you, the way to meet people, your 5-step strategy is you have your specific goal, and you think of the people in the best position to help you, and then you use your advanced search, and then I'm going to ask them to send an email to recommend me. Well, what are the people going to do? Once they get that email, they're probably just going to Google Linda Kester. And when they do that, my website comes up, but my LinkedIn comes up. And on my LinkedIn, they can see who has recommended me. And so that's why it's important to have that on there. And I gave you that tip here. You could change this. It just said your personal website before, but I changed it to that. You can add your Twitter account. I do have a Twitter, but I would recommend not to link the two. You can link it so that everything that you put on Twitter comes on LinkedIn, but a lot of business people don't like that because it's too much information. So you could just put your Twitter account so people would follow you if you wanted them to on Twitter if they wanted to. So it's important to have that filled out as much as possible. And then remember about the ways that you're going to find vendors, the ways that you're going to find vendors and lessees. You go up to the advanced search, and you can either search with a name, if you know the name, or you can search just by the company name, like I did with Great America. You can search through groups, the groups that you want to join. So go out there and look for the groups that are in your target industry, and then you can browse through those groups to see if the members of those groups are have other groups or other people that you would like to connect with. And then you can go up and you can save that search, which was I think is just the best tool, because that way you don't have to proactively go out there. It can come to you each week or each month to get people who are new in the industry or have changed something on their profile. Okay, so Monica, do we have any questions that have come up?
That would actually be Jen can see
Oh,
those.
Jen, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Give me one sec. Let me get to that area. Brian Link has a question, so let me unmute him for a second. Okay. Well, it won't I'll just ask it.
Just as a reminder, if anybody does have a question, just raise your hand or type it in the box.
Actually, I don't think his question relates to. Oh, here's one from John Molinaro. He says, "How do you keep up with all the emails coming in from LinkedIn?"
That's a good question, John, because if we went to my site, you can control it though on the groups and because the capital equipment leasing, that group, I get the most emails from there. So you can actually go in and allow how often, whether you want it weekly or whether you want it monthly from those groups, because you do get a lot, and some of them are not really pertinent. So that's why it's important to just join the groups, join the groups that are most important to you. Join the groups on the target markets that you're really focusing on. I don't know, Patrick or Jim, do you have anything else that you could help with that? You get a lot of emails from LinkedIn?
We get responses as far as the inbox is concerned. Up top on your inbox there, it's not a direct email generally, and it's pertaining to different items of discussion from different groups or different contacts, but they're not as invasive as your inbox.
In your regular email. So could you send the notifications from the group, I wonder, into your LinkedIn account rather than into your personal email account? I think that would be a better way to handle it.
I think so too. I think you can do that.
Yeah. So there you go. That's probably the best way to handle it. Figure it out that way. We have any other questions?
That's the only one right now, unless anyone else has other questions.
Well, hopefully you guys, have learned some tips to help you. I have a great resource for more information. This guy, his name is Jan Vandermeeren. He's from Belgium. Actually wrote this book, How to Really Use LinkedIn, and it had great information on it. And actually, if you write down his name, Jan, Vermeiren, if you connect to him on LinkedIn, he has free light, he calls it the light version of his book. So you can get it for free from his LinkedIn profile. So if you're looking for more information. And you should connect to me. If you guys are on here, connect to me, connect to Patrick, and connect to Jim. Because we could all help you out. And if you have questions that that you weren't able to ask on here, you can ask one of the three of us through LinkedIn also. Okay?
Oh, no problem.
Okay, good.
That'd be great.
Well, Linda, I want to thank you for putting this on today. And if anybody wants to get on the next one, feel free to register for the next one too. There may be even more tips that we've gotten sent from now to then. And I want to thank Patrick and Jim and the whole Distance Learning Committee for bringing these to our members, and hopefully we'll have more to offer as the year goes on.
Great.
Sounds great.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.